back, everybody. This is Mog on Mog Squad, once more playing some Kerbal Space Program, and we are going to be doing a new build today. We're not going to be going too far. I think, well, we basically need to just collect some more science to keep moving on. So we're not going to change much up from what we've done in the previous episodes. Like, I think we might still go to the moon. I think I might shoot for a polar orbit this time. As opposed to what we did previously, and I'm also going to be putting together a better sub-assembly for the lower stage, because we basically have the gear to do it now. We have the larger rockets, we have a skipper Rockomax size engine, we have some of the larger fuel tanks. We can actually put together a decent launch vessel. Now, I don't have the mainsails, so we still have to keep them relatively small in comparison to what we've done in previous seasons, but yeah, we're going to go for this one. So let's see, I've got the start of this done here so far. Why don't we put, fuel tank's going to want to go below. What kind of science instruments do I want on here? And do I want a battery up top somewhere? Not that one. I guess we'll still use the radial mounted batteries, and we still have the ability to generate electricity with these panels at least. Why don't we put this way so we can run a ladder down it and have that extend out the back. We're going to toss on... Nope, I don't want to make this too crazy. We're going to put a couple of these on. Right like that. We're going to put on... we're probably going to want to do some parachutes so that we can access these a little better. We're going to put 2 of these, just like... Not like that, apparently. Maybe... Ooh, come on now. Why don't we do them right... Can we not get it to stick right here? I'd like it to be right there on the side, if I can. Like that? Sure, I guess that works. It's kind of connected down lower, so that's kind of what I wanted, so it was actually connected to the rest of the rocket. Let's put some panels right here to generate some electricity. It's going to be right above the parachute, so that's fine. At the point that we're coming back down to land, we're not really going to need them anymore, so might as well just get them on here. Okay, let's, leave that right there. That looks fine. Let's put on some, actually those didn't serve much of a purpose. The most we got out of use was these guys and rock samples. So we're gonna stick to that format for now until we get a little more in-depth, rocketry going. Let's go ahead and put our lower stage in here. Let's do, let's do one of these tanks. Let's do one of these engines, and hopefully that should be enough to get us home. We're gonna also toss in some of these guys on this lower stage. So we don't really need a crazy rocket, but we are gonna put together something with a little more juice, a little more kick than our previous builds. So let's do just like that. And that should be about even. We're going to use the same engine on all of that stage. Let's toss ourselves some nose cones on here. Like, what I'm thinking is we really don't need a ladder to go down. Like, we don't have to have this exposed on the mun. We can just use our little hover jets to get back in there if we need to. What I am going to do, though, is give our dudes a little ladder. Oops, not a ton of them, just a little bit. Extend it a little bit so that it sticks out a bit. Actually, how far down does this one go? Could I actually make this work? Could I go like that? That's not half bad. It probably wouldn't be perfect. It doesn't totally work, but I'll say that works for me. And let's put some of the rungs on here. That should be enough to get him in and out of his rocket without trouble. Let's put some landing lights. Right? No. We're gonna put them a little higher so that we can have the landing legs below. So let's do it like that. Let's toss these landing legs into position. Right like that. That's looking pretty good. So what's gonna happen is basically this is all gonna be the landing stage, and what's actually gonna get us down to the surface, and then it'll detach, and this last stage will be the one that can go home. Is the idea here. So why don't we're going to set up asparagus staging on this too, I think. Yeah, in fact we will. Give this its best use of fuel. We are definitely going to set up some staging here. So let's do this. Right there to right there. Do the same on the other side. Right there to to right there. That looks even enough. And okay, so let's set up the rest of the staging on here. Let's do right this and there. And the same thing here. Is that right? Nope, I think that's out too far on this one. So one click further in to right there. That's not perfect, but it'll work. There to there, and here to here. Okay, so that stage is set. I'm gonna strut it real quick, just so that this stage is pretty much done. Now how should we strut this? We can make this work. We can just do it like this. Quick strut. It'll lock to these guys, but that's unfortunate. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to strut to one another. So let's just do it like this then. Right there to there. Right there to there. Oh, that one's actually a little too far. Click it there to there. How's that? A little too far that way. Let's reset this one just for even's sake. Okay, that seems alright. That should be strutted enough, I think, and it should hold. Let's give this a new name. The Touchdown 2. Save that. Let's double check our staging. So that should be okay there. It's going to fire all these engines. Let's set this up because we are going to do some multi-staging here. That's going to separate. Okay, so let's take a look here. First ones to go are these guys. So it's that one. Let's pull that down to that lower stage. Let's go to the opposite side here. Check this one. That's right there. Grab that. Separate those again. Go to the second stage here. This one. And most likely, yep, that one. And that should leave our final stage to decouple there. And that's our asparagus staging. So save that. So it'll basically fire all 7 engines. We'll kick off the first ones to be empty, the second ones to be empty, and then the third ones, and then we'll be left with the final rocket firing, and it'll be a full tank. And then from there, the next stage, we'll separate and fire our parachutes. Actually, I'm going to put that last stage up above so that we fire our parachutes first, and then detach if we really need to, if we're coming down too hard. Now, I also just remembered that this isn't going to have landing gear. So why don't we put some landing gear in here too? Right like that. A little higher than the outside ones so that, actually those are about even. I don't really want them to be super even. I want them to be a little bit higher up than the outer ones so that these ones touch down rather than these middle ones. That way these ones will still extend enough to probably catch it when it comes back down to Kerbal, but they won't interfere when we're landing on the bun. Save that up. Let's go ahead and toss a decoupler in here as well. Boop. And I just like to do this because it's kind of fun. Toss some decouplers on here and toss those on there to protect these outer engines in flight. We do have an adapter, so let's do that. Now, just to make sure that we're getting this right, when we're about to fire those engines, let's kick that. And that's going to be a bit lower actually, so let's move that down. That's going to decouple there and then fire all those engines. So, boom. No. Decouple this first. All of these can decouple with those. So yeah, it'll detach, then we'll engage the next stage. It'll kick off all these cones and fire all the engines. So it'll look, I think it'll look kind of good. Okay. So next stage here. Let's do this with a skipper. Just a small tank there to kind of give an extra boost. Toss that decoupler there, and then we're going to make this core stage. 1, 2, and the skipper. And let's put these larger decouplers on here. 6 of them. Toss in that stage right there. It should be all even. And we copy this, toss them down below, grab this outer engine, attach those, so we got a full array of skipper engines. Do we have a nose cone for this? We do not, but we can improvise here. toss some of these on here, and then we can toss these nose cones right on top, so it doesn't look half bad. We can definitely replace those later on if need be, but for now, not a big deal. Of course, we can make them look a little symmetrical. There we go. Okay, so that's looking half pretty good actually, I think. Let's toss some of these on here just a stage above so that we can get the landing clamp or the launch clamps in here too. So that's looking all right there. Let's take a look. We still need to set up the asparagus staging and of course strutting this thing all together. I also do kind of want to put some other rockets on here, so we're gonna attach right there. Yeah, are you gonna let me? Not really. Okay, that's better. There, and actually we don't need to put these both on just yet. Let's get this positioned first. So we have them sitting there, and that's not even. Click them over one. There we go. That's a bit more even. Copy that over. And that should be about even right there. So that'll give us a good array of solid boosters we can kick off as well. We're going to toss the nose cones on here, because I'm pretty sure with the newest update, the aerodynamics and actually using nose cones can help, from what I understand. Anyway, let's put some stationary wings on here, winglets. These ones don't have control surfaces, so they won't move around. And before we forget, I need to put some batteries on here. Yikes, that could have been bad. Actually, it probably wouldn't have been the end of the world, but still, it's better to have them. Put those in between the struts. That should provide enough power, I think. We have lights. Everything else is looking pretty solid here. Okay, we got power. We got the ability to generate power. In fact, I'm going to put a few more of these on this outer stage, just to give us a bit more ability to generate electricity here. It's right there. Oops, not those. And right here. Now, you may be asking, why am I facing these toward where it's going to be landed at? It's so that when we're in flight, if the sun's behind us, we can still actually get some angled light coming at them. Because we do have a little bit of angle on this side, but nothing too crazy up front. So why don't we copy these, flip them around, place another set right here, and right there, and there. Now we've got some definite electricity generation coming from hopefully any direction that we might be facing, as long as the sun's within view. And that's pretty much the best we can do with these stationary panels that we can't really extend or anything like that. So, okay, we're looking good there, we're looking good here. Let's get this last stage, asparagus staging, all set up, and then we should be good to go. I'm so glad that we have these fuel lines these days. It's rough without fuel lines. Okay, which one do we want to be the last? Okay, the ones that are actually in line. So let's set up the staging, or the fuel lines here, right here at the base, to right there. Grab that, come over to this side, slap them into position, zoom back out a little bit, and then we'll come over to this side, smack that right on there, right there. Do the same thing on this side. Then right there to there. Excuse me. And then we skip a one and put them in this side. There to there. And then we're also going to do the same on this one. There to there. So there's the fuel lines all set up, and then all we need to do is set up the staging and then set up the strutting. So that shouldn't be a problem. So let's see. Take a look at our decouplers here. I think these are all going to be these outer ones. Yep, so let's keep those right where they are, I think. Let's pull down these engines to the first stage so that they all fire at the same time. And then move down our launch clamps so that they go second. So we basically fire all our engines and they'll still be holding in place, and then we fire it once more. Okay, so take a look at these last decouplers here, and then we'll get these set up to go. Take a look there. These are going to be the final stage, so we want to ignore those. We're going to skip over. These are the first ones that we want. Decouple that. Take a look at the opposite side. And the lowest one there. Clip that in there. And then once more we skip over and take a look at these ones. Drop that down. And then drop... Oops. Let's deselect all those. And then drop this set down to here. Now we have our asparagus staging all set up now. Hopefully, these outer solid rockets should run out of fuel first. If they actually look like they're going to be giving a bit more thrust and lasting longer, we can always just turn down our throttle and wait them out. In fact, we might actually want to just do that from the get-go, because we do have it set up for asparagus staging out here, so one set of these is going to run out real quick and then eject out those. So we want to make sure that all of these get burnt out first. So we're pretty much just going to go on pretty low thrust to begin with. But that shouldn't be a problem. We'll kick all those out, and then we can start disengaging those. What are these two decouplers here? So that and that. Okay, so that's definitely something we want to change. Pull those up to there, so that decouples afterwards. So lose that one, and then we should fire this. And once this gets burnt out, we'll decouple up top here, and then it'll engage those last ones. So let's save that, and then all we need to do is strut this thing up and we should be good to go. So toss, oops, I want to make sure that we have some of the symmetricals going, of course. Now, did I just notice, can you actually connect to this guy now? Interesting. I don't really, I want to test that before I make any bigger builds with that in mind, but we're going to strut just below on that other tank, and then we're going to put another strut outside this. Going all the way to the top here if we can get it. And doesn't quite look like it. It looks like it's too angled, so let's go a little higher. How about right there? That'll work. Cutting right through the wing, but that's fine. Okay. Now let's strut these things together, and we should be pretty much ready to go. So zoom on down, try to get as low as we can. We can go all the way down, so that's going to work. Let's do the same on this side. Is it right? Right there, I guess that is even. It just looks odd. I go, okay, I guess it's my view. That's alright though. Come back up, clip that into place. Now all of these should be strutted together, and then we just need to add some additional struts to the core of the rocket, and this should be ready to go. So let's skip out to the side. Let's connect it there, and then we'll do the same in a cross fashion on this side. That should hold that in place pretty well, I would think. So let's call that good. So this is going to be the touchdown 2, and oh, I guess I should probably strut this last stage. Right there, let's click this one into position at that strut, and we'll do the same on this side. And now, actually that might, let's do this, let's add one more set of struts that will bridge the gap between this joint, because that joint right there is going to be a weak point since all the struts connect separately. Why don't I just... Oh, this will work. We'll strut it like that. That should provide a little bit better stability. Okay, well this is going to be the touchdown 2. Hopefully this thing actually ends up working out pretty well. This may be overbuilt a bit, but I guess we'll find out next time. I'm going to lower this down before we call it. But until we get the more powerful mainsail engines, we pretty much have to stay with these not quite as tall rockets. This is more of a bit of a stout rocket. But hopefully this works out. I guess we'll find out next episode, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then. Cheers.